Welcome to the third video for the project on CSS art. So in this video we're going to be trying to continue to make our skeleton, and we're going to be focusing on CSS. So the first thing we should do is have a look at what we'll be creating in this video. So here is our skeleton with some fire in its mouth. All of this was done via using CSS and HTML. I think these kind of activities are a great way to get familiar with how CSS works and all the properties that you can use to create fun things. So let's get started. Okay, so in this video, the big aim is to create the CSS for our skeleton. By the end of this video, we're going to be understanding how Flex works. We're going to be getting a good idea of how to make shapes with CSS and to understand how to manually position items within the Flex container. Do remember, the way I like to do this is I'm going to be asking you a load of questions. I'm hoping that you are stopping the video and attempting to answer. So I want a little bit more active learning here, where you are trying to compare your work with my work. So let's get started. Okay, before we start working on the CSS to build the skeleton, I want to go over some of the Flex concepts. So remember, Flex is a way to lay out our website, and what Flex does is it creates a container that automatically arranges boxes within. So the key words that we need to think about are flex direction. So this is telling us how we're going to organize the items or the boxes within our container, and these justified content and align items, there are ways to align the boxes within our container. So let's have a look at an example. So we have a box here. This is our container that contains our flex, and these are our two boxes within that container. What I would like you to do is I would like you to add these three properties: the flex direct, the justify content, and the align items. I would like you to think about how you are going to set these up so the website goes like this. So this flex direction, you have two options: row or column. The justified content, you have left, center, or right. And the aligned items, it's left, center, or right. So have a think. How would you organize these to create this website? Stop the video and write down your answers. Okay, so hopefully you've paused the video. Let's have a look. So because we're going left to right, we call it a row. It's not column, it's a row. So because it goes left to right, it's a row. Now, hopefully you've guessed this. You may not know this, but hopefully you've kind of guessed that there's two ways to center it. There's the horizontal line here. Now, the justified content, it aligns the boxes on a horizontal line. So we wanted left. Now in this, left just means flex start. So if we say flex start, then we align it on the horizontal line. And then on the vertical line here, we wanted it to be center. Now have the same idea. These three properties: flex direction, is it row or column? Justified content, is it flex start, center, or flex end? And aligned items, again, is it flex start, center, or flex end? Pause the video, have a try. So hopefully you've paused the video. Let's have a look at the answers. So because the boxes are going from top to bottom, it's column, so it's not row. The justified content, well, the horizontal line for columns is not this way anymore, it's actually this way. It changes. So the justified content for the columns is center, because we've centered it here. Now the aligned items in this one goes this way. So the aligned items property is on the right, which is flex end. Now this is an important point because we're going to be using it to make the skeletons. When we have the row, the horizontal line, which is the justified content, is this way. When we have the column, the justified content line, the horizontal line, is this way. So I've got 2 more questions. Have a go and see if you've got a better understanding of these layout. Okay, so we have the first one here. Pause the video, see if you can get that right. Hopefully you've paused the video. Let's have a look. So because it's going from up to down, it's a column. Again, the justified content here with the horizontal line is going down because it's column, which means that the horizontal line is the flex start. The align items, which is the vertical line, and because it's column, we go this way. This is the center. Let's have another look. So look at this website, have a look, pause the video, see if you can guess it. Hopefully you've paused the video. Let's have a look at the answers. So because it's going left to right, not up to down, it's rows. If we look at the horizontal line, the justified content line here, for a row it's this way, so it's the flecked end because it's on the right. And again, if we look at the aligned items, and because it's a row, it's this way, we're looking at the start, or the flex start, which is on the left. So hopefully you've got a better idea of how these layouts work. We're now going to be using it to create our skeleton. So this is our plan that we looked at, or we created in video 1. The blue text are the properties that we're going to be adding to CSS. So try and use this layout to make the CSS for the skeleton. Again, you pause it, do some research, try it by yourself, and then let's go through it together. So hopefully you've stopped the video and you've attempted the layout by yourself. If the layout is confusing at all to you, then have a look at the first video in this series and we explain how we've created it. So at the moment what I've done is I created the HTML in video 2, and in this video I've just added the CSS tags or the classes here. So the first thing that we want to do is we want to add a background color of black to our body container. So let's add the background. So we say background color, and let's just make it black. There we go. So the second thing that we want to do is we want to add our skeleton container. So here, what we want to do is we want to make it so it contains some items. So there are a couple of ways to do it. We're going to use the flex method. So this will manually or automatically organize the items that we're placing within this container. So to start it, we need to add flex. So because within the skeleton container, we have 2 overlapping boxes. We have the mouth, and then we have the head. So because they're overlapping, the flex doesn't do a great job of that. There's no automatic property that you can use that. So the flex direction that we did earlier, this one doesn't really matter so much for this one. So I'm just going to use the default, which is row. Now, because we've done row, we need to think about the horizontal line first. So remember, because we've done row, the horizontal line is just the normal line, and that is the justify content one, and we want it in the center. And now we want to work on the vertical line here, and again we want to try and do it in the center. So let's do the align items, and that is again center. And let's add a height. So let's add this height will be 1,300. Again, you can change this, you can play around with it. I'm just adding a height to help us later on. Okay, so we've done the information for the skeleton. Let's move on to the head. So the first thing that we need to do for our head is let's make it round. So to make it round, we're going to use the border radius. the border radius option, and we're going to set it for 50%. So this will make a circle there. Then we want to make it white. So let's change the background color to white. Now this is where it gets a little complicated because we need to add more boxes. So we're adding the boxes for our eyes and for our nose. So because we're adding some boxes, we need to add another flex display. Hopefully, when you tried it yourself, you could see that we're going from top to bottom. So we're not going from side to side, we're making columns. So the flex direction there is a column. Okay, now that because we're now looking at the line, so the vertical line for this is down here. Now we want the vertical line to be at the start. So the justified content, we're going to say flex start. Now we want to look at the horizontal line, and because it is a column, the horizontal line is this one. Now the horizontal line, we want it to be in the middle. So the align items, we're going to put center. Okay, and we are going to also give it a height. So because the skeleton was 1,300, let's give it a height of 1,000 and a width of 1,000. We're giving it a height and a width because there's no content in there to give it that actual, to give it any width or height. So we have to add that in our CSS. Okay, so we're going to move on. I'm going to skip the neck for now, and I want to focus on the eyes. So we're looking at the eye box first here. Now the eyes, what we want to do is, because within this eyes we have two other boxes, so again we need to use the display flex. Now if you see these eye boxes, they are side by side, so the flex direction needs to be the row. Again, let's have a look at the horizontal line. So because it's a row, that's the horizontal line. This is not center, and it's not left, and it's not right, so we have to use a new one. So there are a few of them, and the one I want to use is space around. So space around means there's a little space here, there's space in between them, and there's space there. So there's a few more of them, so you can have a look there and find out what they are. Go online and research them. Now for the vertical line, we want them to be center. So again, align items, we're going to center that. Now I'm going to give it a width. Now in this layout, it's not the same. The layout that I've drawn is a bit smaller than the head, so I'm going to give it a width of 800. Again, I'm just kind of adding them in. There's no logic to I'm using them. If it doesn't look good, I will be changing them later on. Okay, so also the last thing that we need to do is, because this is the box here, because of the head box, we've said the justified content. Remember, because it's a column, the vertical line or the horizontal goes like this. So that means the eyes will be at the very top. We don't want it at the very top, we want to push it down a bit. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a little margin at the top, and that margin is going to be, let's try 200 and see how that goes. Okay, so that will push it down slightly manually. Okay, and so let's move on. So we've got the eyes container. Let's create the eyes now. Now the eyes just need to be round and black, so there is no flex that we need to add because there's nothing inside that we're going to add to it, no boxes. So let's make the color black first. Let's make it round by using that border radius. Again, if we want to make it a circle, let's do it 50%. Let's set a height and a width, because remember there is no content in there, so we have to set it. Again, I'm just making these numbers up. If they don't look good later on, I will be changing them. Okay, so let's save it now, and let's have a look at what it looks like. So there should be a skeleton container. Inside that skeleton container, there should be a head container. Inside that head container, there should be an eye container, and it should have 2 eyes. So let's have a look. Okay, so here we have the website here. So we have the background, the body. The whole website background is black. The skeleton, we can see the whole skeleton container there. So we then can see the head. The head has a circular shape. With inside the head, there is the eyes container. And you can start seeing the margin there. That's how I've added it. If you want, you can reduce that margin, or you can increase it to push it further down. And then within inside that eye container, you have the 2 eyes. So it's looking okay. Let's compare it with our compare it to what we want to create, and see if we're getting closer to the right shape. Okay, so we're looking at side by side now. We've got the eyes there. Hopefully you can start seeing how it comes together, how easy it is to make the nose there. Creating the neck and doing the overlap could be a little bit difficult, but once we've done that, it'll be very easy to add the mouth and then the animation. I guess what I want to show you in this video is with that layout that I created in the first video, I was able to actually go quite quickly in the development stage of adding the CSS. I didn't have to keep going back and forth and seeing how it looked. I had quite a good idea of what it would look like in my head just with that layout. Okay, so I'm going to stop the video because it's already getting a bit long, and I'm going to continue in the next video. So thank you very much so far. In the next video, we're going to be creating the nose, we're going to be creating the neck and the mouth, and then working on the file. So if you're interested in that, please subscribe to my channel so you know when the next video is available.